basically, I lost a little bit of progress. I was not recording while I was fiddling with the options. I hope it works now. Am I live this time? Let's go on to my stream manager. Hello? Is it live? Yeah. Okay, it's working now. Mm. So I'm live. Everything should work. So let's continue with everything. So one thing that I did, small change, is the free placement that I started working on. So right now we can't move, even if we do outside of bounds, and if we do, we just get the red symbol. So the tower has to stay within the bounds, and of course it's not going to let you place if it's on the red. And it uses free placement now, unlike before. Um, where are we? Oh. Yeah, try it, Casco. Uh, okay, so what I want to do now is work on the towers. So the towers that I can think of that I want to do are going to be, let's just go into scriptable towers. So the basic tower will be a, I guess we can call it, what would it be? So it's going to be a tower that just shoots very slow bullets constantly. Well, slow. It has a low rate of fire, but it fires bullets. So it's like a gun, essentially. So this is going to be our gun tower. Now, the next tower that we will have is going to be our cannon tower. So this tower will use a parabolic shooting. So it'll shoot up and then it will splash down with an AoE hit. So that means it can hit more than one enemy with one go. Our next tower is going to be our freeze tower. So the freeze tower will just slow down the opponent, the little blob. What other tower can we think of? I'll have, since we have freeze, we will have some other effect like, I guess, a burn tower. So this will create a dot that will burn target over a certain amount of time when it's outside of the fire radius. What other towers could we have as the towers? Something with an interesting mechanic. I guess we'll just leave it as these. So what I'm going to do first is I'll create the models out of basic shapes. So this is what we had for our original tower. I'll slightly change this. So there you go. So let's just unpack this prefab. Just going to go into the prefabs folder. Where are we? I'll make a new folder for the towers. And let's just slap the old basic tower in. And now let's actually just open it in prefab editor. So this is going to be the gun tower, which is going to be the default tower. I'm going to put it here and open it in the prefab editor. Actually, go away from here. So first change that we'll do, it's going to be way smaller. Right now, this tower, it looks way too big in my opinion. We'll probably keep the base same for every single tower, but I want to show that this tower is more of a fast firing type of thing rather than a. Actually, let's get rid of the outer tower and let's make it a 3D object, a cube. Just gonna make it 1.4, 1.4, 1.4. Let's just give it a big long gun, like so. I'm just gonna attach a collar. There we go, like so. This I'm gonna flatten just to give it a little bit of shape. I could technically just use. Wait, what? This is the gun. Oh, go away for now. There you go. With this, we have a little bit more shape to our tower. And now let's slap the gun back in, put it in the middle. The inner part we'll just put at the very end. And actually a bit too long, maybe slightly shorten it. Flatten this bit out. And we got ourselves a very basic tower. So this is going to be our very first tower. The second one's going to be similar to what we originally had for the tower. So let's just leave this as it is. And go into the prefabs. And I'll just quickly make a few other ones. So let's just unpack this a few times. Copy, copy, copy. Next one was the freeze tower. So cannon tower. Cannon tower, freeze tower, and the burn tower. And that's it for now. I guess, yeah, no, let's just leave it as that. Drag in the cannon one, again, open. So this is okay for the cannon tower. We're just going to change colors so every tower is not looking the exact same. Give it a nice, I guess we can make it more gray like so. And we will, since this one's gonna, since this tower is gonna fire in an arc, we're actually gonna make the bullets spawn from a high point. So we can make something like this. And then they'll just go up, arc, and then hit down on our target. So that's the second tower done. We can call this a success. And now let's do the freeze tower. Actually, let's just drag them here already. So the freeze tower, again, we'll change the color to a icy color. And so I don't have to play too much with it. I'm just gonna stretch everything out. Whoops, wrong one. Stretch this out so it looks more like the original tower, but slightly longer. There you go. So that's gonna be the freeze tower. And we will do a similar for the burn tower. The burn tower is essentially just going to have red here. No, go back. Oh, we can actually use the basic enemy color for it. Yeah. So with this, we have 4 various towers, which we can use to program. So let's make sure they all spawn in first. They have the cost and everything else set. And then we can start working on programming all of them in at another day. So I'll just go into, there you go. So we have 1, 2, 3, or 4 towers. So what we need to do is fill in all of the values. So the gun tower is already done. It doesn't need anything else. We can actually add some fast firing towers later, and I can open GIMP to change the models in the future, although I don't see the point of doing that, to be honest, for this little exercise. So we just give it more damage, range. We have here to cancel its buyout. For the freeze tower, it'll make it a little bit more expensive, and I'll make the burn tower the exact same price. Let's make the burn and the freeze tower actually do less, since they will have a bonus effect. And again, half a price for selling for now. Now, if we go to the now, what we'll have to do is we'll have to attach the correct tower into the correct scriptable. So to place, which one's that freeze tower? We will have to get our freeze, like so. For the cannon, we will have to get the cannon. And for the burning, we'll get the burn tower. Do we have any icons that we can use as temporary? No, we don't. So that means it's paint time. What does our original icon look like? Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so I will need to redo all of the icons, and I don't want to do it now. So for now, we will just use any random placeholder. This needs a different date. So I'm just going to change that. Do we have any? And I'm just a circle. So if we press play, nothing's going to happen because I have not attached anything here. So what's the base tower? Oh, it's these, right? It's the scriptables. So let's enable these, and we will call them what they are. So this is going to be our first tower. So this is going to be the gun tower. This is going to be our what is this called? It's going to be the cannon. This is going to be the freeze, and this is going to be the burn. We actually have more towers than we have icons, but that doesn't matter. We can come up with more and actually later remove the UI so we can have like 10 different types of towers for the game. Now that we have this, we need to drag in the corresponding scriptables. If I could drag and drop, freeze and burn. But that also means that this one has to stay disabled for now. So I'm just going to remove the icon altogether, since we only have so many towers. Now, we are still missing the placers. So right now we have the old placer, which will have to go away. Actually, we can use it for the burn tower. So the old placer will be used for the burn tower, because the burn tower looks essentially the same. So what I'll do here is I'm taking all of these, and I will remove the box collider from them, the tower component, and selectable object, because we don't need them. What we do need is for them to look like this one here. Where are we? So to each of them, we have to remove the canvas. They don't need a canvas anymore. And they need the highlighter. And for the highlighter in the materials, we'll select the good and the bad. And finally, we will have to drag in every single component that has an active material. We could have just looped through, I guess, to make it slightly more automated, but it's all right for whatever we're doing. Don't really need the muzzle point. Okay, so is that everything? We have the base, the rotator, the gun, and the inner section. Yep. So now we have a gun tower. We didn't change the colors. Yeah, let's just change the material so we know that it's this object. There you go. So this is what it's going to look like if it's going to be good. Do they need to have a different tag? Untagged. Okay, so let's just remove the tag. And do the same for the remaining objects. Don't need the muzzle. Okay, and drag and drop these guys in. Do the same for this one. And drag and drop these guys in. For a second I thought I didn't have a mic in. How's it going, Casco, by the way? Is it working or not? Okay. Now with this, I can add the remaining prefabs into the prefabs folder and get rid of these guys here. Now with this, the scriptable should be finally complete. So all I have to do is open the scriptable, add the placer where it should be. Actually, there's a quicker way of doing it. Cannon tower is that one. Freeze tower is that one. And then gun tower has to be changed to the new one. Okay. No, if you did something Casco, then I don't see anything. It's not popping for me. Oh, yeah, yeah, I have the same problem. What about is Baka not online or no? Damn. It's no good. Oh well. Either way, now that we have these towers, we can start placing them. Ooh, let's see if it will work. Wait. Oh, that's right. They need a button component. So the remaining items, just like that one, I mean, icons need a button. What do we have here? We have a bottom and a tower selection. So they will all need to reference their own tower selection. Like so. Yeah, no. And what was the function? Select tower. Where are we? Select tower. Select tower. And now just double check if I've done it for all of them. Yeah, should be the same now. Should work now. Okay, so that one works, but it still spawns the old model. Camera's on. And that is because it's still using the basic tower model instead of the gun model. Okay, let's try one more time. There we go. Now we get the correct model. Let's see if it's going to shoot properly by spawning in the enemies. Yeah, so we get the shooting working as intended. However, the other ones are not working because I don't have the money, isn't it? Yeah. So let's quickly fix this element next. So why did Cannon Tower place something other than what it was meant to? Let's go through the code. So what we have to open is the player interaction script and see exactly what's happening in here. So this is the selected highlight. Let's make everything serializable that has to be serializable, and let's increase how much money we have at the start so we can playtest with this. let's just make it something big. Okay, so now I should be capable of placing absolutely every tower. Is there no cancel function for the current selection? Is there a right click, right click, right click? So we have the left click. Is there a right click? What does right click do? Okay, so this should actually cancel the selection, which it didn't. Interesting. Oh, let's work on doing that. So the highlight has to go. Basically, when we right click, the highlight has to disappear, and has to disappear when we click. So what do we have here? So when I click the tower, now we get the object to place, and which is this, and the highlight. The highlight is actually something that's on the scene. Does it get created? Oh, so it does get created. See, I don't remember the code anymore. So I click and the highlight gets created. I right click and nothing happens. That means that there is no functionality to get rid of the highlight. So, but there is one when we place the object. So if we go into the left click and have a look at the code, what will we see is that we call this, we just destroy it. So actually, let's put in a separate function because later on we will change it to pooling. Deselect highlight like so, and instead of doing this, we'll just do no. Oh no, I did copy the right ones. So deselect highlight like so, and then of course, if we right mouse click, we also wanna deselect the highlight on top of doing everything else because it's just a cancel feature. So now we should be able to cancel. Now, what happens if we select that highlight and then we click on a new one? Nothing happens. I need to change these icons a little bit because it's confusing when it doesn't have a background. Let's just quickly go into Scriptables and just give them the exact same icon for now. For the ones that have like a highlight circle, let's just use the empty icon border. There we go. Go a save icon. Okay. Just want to know if I'm clicking. So I'm definitely clicking. So they spawn the exact same model. Okay. Let's see, why are we spawning the exact same model? Should have really coded this as I was doing this, not after, because now I have to look through everything several times just to know what I'm doing. So the first thing, well, this gets done at the select tower, and we know that each of them has a correct one set. Yep. And they all have their own placer object, tower to place. Here is the other one. So the gun tower, which is the only one that works properly. Okay, let's have a look at that. Yeah. So, and technically, they all have it set correctly. In fact, I'm just going to rename them because it's getting confusing. Placer. 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 Okay. Now this will make slightly more sense. Yeah, there you go. So all of the correct ones are set, but when we click, it doesn't do as we expect it to. So let's open this script and the player interaction, as those are the only ones that deal with it. So if we have more money, then the buyout of the tower, which is what we have assigned, then our selected to place object becomes that, but we never assign what the highlight is. So where is the selection highlight being assigned? Where is this happening? Oh, interesting. So this is where where is this called? Tower placement placers. So if it's not selected, then we instantiate this. But what's to spawn? It's to spawn. So it's a casting object and it's selected objects. Oh, is that? Oh my god. I made this in such a weird way that I'm slightly confused now. Okay. So actually, let's do something different here. So every single tower icon has their own tower. We know that. But so instead of deleting them, what we will actually do is we will be setting them on and off. So firstly, I'll create an array. It will be easier to manage this way as well. So private game object and game object. And let's call it the highlighted towers. And of course, make this as an array. So then all the highlights of the towers. And as soon as we start the object, we will, well, we'll create a function for disabling all the highlights. So disable all highlights, like so. And what we'll do here is we'll do for each, and we'll do highlighted towers.length, and we'll just do highlighted towers I dot set active, and that's going to be false. So what's going to happen is let's just disable all highlights. And now, instead of removing, actually, we do have the delete function that so we're just going to do this here, get rid of that. There you go. So at the start, we deselect. And what's going to happen? So now we no longer have to instantiate the highlights. We have to enable the selected highlight instead. So what's going to happen here is this to say we no longer remove anything. So let's just put in the highlights. So if we go into here, we're going to actually spawn all of them in. Hello. So this will be slightly more efficient because we will have our highlights in the scene from the start of the game. And if we go into the manager, I can now add all of the highlights like this. So we'll have our basic canon basically in the order that they appear. Now, what I'll do here is on the selection, I'll pass through. So let's go into our tower. The highlight is no longer necessary. We don't actually care about it anymore. But what we do want to do is pass in some kind of an identifier for the tower, which we will do like so. So we'll do public integer tower ID. And tower ID will, just to make it very simple, will just represent exactly what the exact position in the array. that we've preset. So that's going to be 0, 1, 2, and 3, like so. Now, let's have a look at the code. Yeah, so if we press play, this will automatically disable every highlight, so they're not visible in the map. And when we click here, this will enable that specific highlight on the ID. So when we select this, we call in an enable highlight. So we'll do player interaction, and we'll do enable highlight. So right here, we'll just do public void enable highlight, like so. And what the enable highlight will do is it will always reset the highlights first. So we'll deselect highlights first. So it disables the ones we don't want. And it will pass in an integer, and that's going to be the highlight ID. And what it'll do is it'll do the highlighted towers, and it's going to be at position of the highlight, and it will just set it as inactive. Where are we? Enable highlights, like so. And now we need to pass something, which will pass the tower.id, tower ID, like so. So now we have a full link to disabling the highlights on the tower. Actually, this has to be a true. What do we have here? So this, I don't think we need this anymore. But let's first see how the highlights operate. So it's now enabled, but we still have to assign it to our selected highlight. And the reason being is because if we don't assign it to a selected highlight, then there is no way for us to move the highlight to the position of our mouse. So here is the only place where we will be assigning it. And so selection highlight will be equal to the ID highlight, like so. So now this is no longer null. And then selected object to place, well, we still actually have to pass that through. So we will pass another value in here. And actually, we can just pass in the entire base tower. So base tower details. That'll be more convenient. So we'll just do tower details dot tower ID. And then if we go here, just have to pass in the tower, like so. And then finally, selected to place object will then become tower details dot tower to place, like so. Can remove that, and then so if our highlight is not null, we can run all of our highlight code. Yeah, and that should work. Let's give this a go. Yep. If I swap, it changes to a different, no, does it? Yeah, it changes to a different tower, although I think this should not be the small gun. I feel like these two are reversed now. Let's try placing this tower. Yeah. Yeah, so we just need to fix this low problem. Yeah, so that's definitely the gun tower, and it's at ID 0. So what do we have at ID 0 here? Basic tower is not a basic tower, is it? There are no basic towers. What we really needed was the burn tower to be present. So what actually has to happen is the gun tower has to go first, and wait, did I attach it from here? And the burn tower has to be at the bottom, which fixes this problem. So now we can click on the icons, they place correctly. Oh, oh, that's interesting. We discovered an error. That's the fun part. So now we actually, do we properly deselect things? I was playing around with this and I didn't even check if it's being deselected properly. So let's have this selected. We click, click. Okay, so selection highlight should be nullified straight away as soon as we do that. So selection highlight is equal to null. That should be straight away because we no longer have a highlight to go off of. Okay, so that's fine. 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 And every time we try to place the burn tower, this happens. So this might be just the burn tower. Yeah, it is a problem with the burn tower. So what is wrong with your burn tower? Where did you go wrong? Wait, what? No. So code-wise, everything's fine because they're just copies of each other. But we still get an error for just this one tower. Interesting. What about here? Ah, that's right. What is this? This is a burn tower. This is a burn tower. That's right. It's a burn tower. It's because of the name. Let me modify it. Burn tower. There we go. Now there shouldn't be any problems from here. Why does this one have? Oh, because I touched it. Okay. Now that's issue number 2 fixed. Yep, there we go. So now you can place all the towers. Of course, the muzzles override, but that's not a problem to be honest. I managed to place one on top. That's great. It's actually very interesting how it let me place it on top of that collider. Um, so this is another problem. We just placed an object by swiping as we did it. So what we really need to do is just make sure we have this one final check before we instantiate the object, which is for the left mouse clicks. So the placer was just not set. So rather than using the placer, we will just run the area check one time. And before, let's forget about the, because there might be a delay, but if we check straight away, there shouldn't be any. So let's get rid of that. So before we can instantiate, we have to make sure that the selection highlight is equal to true. Only then can we run all of this code. No. There you go. Now that should fix the overlapping, but that will probably need some further testing. I still managed to click it. Okay. It's funny. Yeah. Okay, well, whatever. I'll play around with this later. Let's move on to the next stage. So we have different towers. We can spawn them. Is the money working? Yes, it is. Now all of the towers currently do the exact same thing, but they should have different damage values. Yes, they do. And as you see, they all shoot. So what I want to do is I want to prepare the code for the next stage of the towers. And yeah, and I think that'll be good enough for today. So each tower has a script called tower. They have this. So I presume their shooting is gonna be different per tower and the bullet that they have. Not every tower will have a bullet though. And the tower is the base class. So what I'll do is I will create a new class or several new classes for each of the towers. So if we go here, this is our basic tower. Has all the basic functionalities of a tower. Then here I'll have the cannon tower. Here I'll have the freeze tower. Freeze tower. And here I will have the burn tower. So opening the cannon tower first and ignoring the other ones for now. Well, actually, let's open all for now. So we can remove all of the code from them for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of inheritance and polymorphism. So every tower we want it to inherit from tower for now. This might be slightly later. Now, what happens? So what will actually happen now is if we go into each of our towers, we can now remove the tower and we can add our burn tower here. And if you compare this to the basic tower, it's exactly the same because it's inheriting absolutely everything from the other one, which is great because this is exactly what we want. So we'll do the same here and we'll do the freeze tower for that one. Like so. Now that everything is here working, what I can do is now, where do we have burn, cannon, freeze, and gun stays the same. So we'll add in the freeze tower. For the cannon tower, we'll add the cannon tower. And for the burn, we will add the burn tower scriptable. Now, of course, all of the other values will be the same, like the muzzle, but the bullet will be different. So clicking on this, we will look for the muzzle. Where are we? But muzzle and the rotator. enemy layer, of course, enemy. And now with this tower set up, we can delete it. We'll do the exact same thing for the remaining towers. No, that's not a bullet. Okay, like so. And then again, rotator. And then enemy layer. And we can save that here. Exact same thing for the final burn tower. Muzzle and rotator. And of course, enemy layer. Now, with all of the towers set, well, we just need the bullets. Now, the bullets could work the same. So for now, I'm just going to create 4 variations of the bullets, just so we can have the prefab. So the first one's going to be our gun tower bullet. And we are going to change the color of this bullet to gray, and we're just going to make it slightly smaller than it currently is. Wait, what? Okay. The cannon tower can stay the same, but it's just going to be slightly bigger. We're not going to change any code for now, but we'll change the material that we attach. So I'm just going to make 4 copies for, well, actually not for 3, because one of them is not going to use bullets. And what we'll change this to is the original yellow. And for this one, which is going to be our burn tower, we'll actually, let's think of a pink. A pink should be fine, because enemies are red, so I don't really want to confuse it. But some of the towers are pink. So let's make it like this darker color. Okay, now with this done, we can now attach every bullet to the appropriate tower. So for our burn tower, we're going to attach this bullet. Where are we? Hello? Why am I? Oh, it's a material. And I didn't attach the materials yet. So this is the gun bullet, cannon bullet, and the burn bullet. We can actually make the burn bullet slightly different by stretching it, so it stands out a little bit. I still want it to be relatively small though. So, like so. And now I'm going to change that to the material. Okay, let's just save it and do the same for the remaining bullets. Where are we? Prefab bullet. So cannon bullet can stay, but it has to change the material to this one. Okay, I guess that's not gonna work. Where is it? There you go. Nope, you're the only cannon bullet. I keep your name. Okay, now I'm just gonna make a new folder for the bullets and drag in our bullets. Wait, what? What happened to? Why do I have 4 sets of bullets? Ah, this is the old bullet we're not gonna use. So those are the new bullets that we're gonna go with. I'll just attach these bullets to each of the towers. The freeze tower will currently have no bullet, and that's going to give us an error, so we will avoid using it for now. Yeah, this has the gun bullet, which is fine. The cannon tower, it will have the cannon bullet, and the burn will have the burn bullet. Now, because they all do the exact same thing they did before, it's just a different color and slightly different shape. They will do the exact same thing they did before. Which is the freeze one? The middle one. So if we start the wave now, it'll do the exact same thing. Or not. Why are 2 of them not shooting? That's strange. Oh, did I actually set the range on them? No, I didn't. No, I did. No, I didn't. So Freeze Tower's range is going to be 3. Burn will be 3. Well, let's just say as 2.5. There we go. How long have I been online for? Another hour? Oh. Okay, so they actually work. They shoot their new bullets fine. I feel like the burn bullet is not. Oh no, it's moving fine. Okay, so let's fix this error. So we can actually only do this if. So we'll just do a check here. If bullet. Is it bullet prefab? Yeah, if bullet is not null, because we can't create something that doesn't exist, like so. Later, this will be changed to pooling, so we waste less memory while you create using bullets. Now, with this done, we have code that will let us change essentially how this works, how the towers work. So there's nothing here now, but if we look at our very first tower, we have to shoot, and this is how our shooting behaves. So what I can do here is I can change the functionality of shoot simply by adding one keyword in here. So there are two keywords. So it's the virtual and override. So I'm gonna make this a virtual method. And I'll be making it public, like so. Where do we actually run this? We run it here. And the reason why I did that is because now our burn tower will have, and it will have shoot, like so. So if we include base, it will do the exact same thing that it did previously. So let's add this to shoot, and to cannonball, let's add this, but we'll instead just do debug.log. Something is meant to happen here, like so. So let's just place the 3 towers. So as we see, the 2 towers, the burn and the gun tower, work as they were supposed to, but now the cannon tower doesn't actually shoot anything. That's because the base makes us use the other one, whereas if we don't have it, it doesn't use. It uses the brand new function. So what we'll be doing in the next part is code in how we want this to operate differently from the original. So, yeah, and that's how you're gonna get different types of shooting included in the game. I'll also do this for the bullets. So if we go into the bullet, I'll make a brand new bullet. Although, how do we want to? Yeah. So, will the bullet this but or actually maybe not. I'll think about this later. So now let's just try to catch some errors that might be visible. Actually, yeah. So I'm just going to do some quick. Let's close this. Let's open our game manager because I've had a list of things I wanted to fix. Where is it? To do. So what do we have here? Wave system. That will be after the towers. Return. Do we have a way to pause? Oh, do we not have a? We do have a pause. What's this button in here? Okay, so this is return to main menu. Okay, return to main, or just call it main menu and make it best fit. It's good that I keep notes of what I do. Okay, so firstly, that should be on escape as well. So let's slightly alter this code. Now we have or input dot. So now we can open the menu with escape or P. P escape is usually what you press in games anyway. So can I go back to main menu? Yes, I can. But when I go back to main menu, this menu appears, which is not what should happen. So let's go back to main menu and figure out. Oh, that's why, because the level selection has not been placed. Selection. Let's press play and see if this works. Why are you not disabling it? Is there no code for it? A level selection. No, there isn't. Okay. Well, with this, we fix this problem. Now, can we start based on the levels we've created? So this is load. Oh, that's right. I disabled that feature when I was programming. Where is the game scene? Yeah. Now we just want to make sure every level can load as intended. Actually, it should be in map. Generation, yeah. So we want to load off the ID that we preset from main menu, and we'll actually almost have something that works. Okay, so let's have a look at this end game. Yeah, so that's there. Different enemies and tower types, kinda. Fix the highlight, make highlight based on terrain. So highlighting works, at least for what we have. Design and make more towers. So we actually wanted like some laser beam. I guess that's going to be our slowing. Add price for towers. We have a price, but we don't have price in the UI. So that's something that has to be added soon. Okay, so this loaded this properly. Just loaded that one, which is fine. So it's actually loading all the levels. Now let's build this and try to run it and see if it's going to work in the build mode. Actually, let's build it with as a development build, because then we'll have the debugging. So I'm just going to create a new folder, going to call it builds, and just going to make a new folder called first build. Let's see if it works before we finish. 2 errors. What are the build errors? What? I didn't even click on these things. I hate when it just auto adds a library without you even selecting anything. Okay, what's the problem now? Yeah, I know. I'm not supposed to have it. So this is for the editor, which is not going to be present in the actual build. Come on, just let me compile. What I really need to do is for that line that I just commented out, I need to do if, just do the if unity editor. But I wanna just finish this. Come on, just make it work. I'll be. Thank you, Windows Defender. Level 1. And can I put a map? Yeah, I can. It takes away the money. Doesn't let me place. Perfect. Okay. And it quits. Okay, so all of that works. It actually compiled, which is great. This has to go back in while we use the editor. Okay, so what do I want to do? Let's forget about all of these old things that I wrote about. Level Builder, it actually works already. Okay, so add prices to the icons. Add icons. Paint time. Okay. Yeah, the editor check not to get compile errors. Wave system still not. So make the cannon tower work and the burn/freeze tower. So that can go away. What do we have here? Lock icon if the cost is too high. Yes, we could do that too. So this will be all for next part, and all of that stuff is for the near future. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do in next part. We're going to add prices, icons, just some editor fixes. We'll make the cannon tower work. Well, all of the towers actually that we've made today. But yeah, that's it for today, and I'll get everything done tomorrow at a random time where I'll be online. Thanks for watching.